What is going on, guys? It's Zetsubō Gaming here. We are back in the final class trial, and we've just confirmed that the person who attacked me wasn't Mukuro Ikusaba.
Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I all have.
And I'm going to be very quiet again,
for that
so in the previous episode if you were watching, because of the reason that I'm very nasal, and we don't want me speaking when I'm nasal. But I have to know something. 1 second. Let's just adjust this, make the game slightly quieter. I think it might have been too loud.
We were in the gym tearing you apart, so it couldn't have been any of us.
Oh, okay, sure. It couldn't have been any of you.
Just trying to blame Kyoko.
But what about Kyoko? It totally could have been her. Uh-oh, no snappy comeback. Did I score a bullseye?
If you insist, I don't mind showing you.
Huh? Show me what?
What do you think? I'll show you the one thing that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it wasn't me.
Before anyone else could say anything. Oh, is this a cutscene? Kyoko is removing her gloves.
Your hands!
Without thinking, I let out a gasp. It's more than just a little burned skin.
Awful, isn't it? It happened when I was first learning to be a detective. I was inexperienced.
I thought you didn't want anyone to see those scars.
If it means we get another step closer to unmasking the mastermind, it doesn't really bother me.
Kyoko seemed to savor the words as she said them. And then she put her gloves back on.
My scars should suffice as proof.
No scars on their hands.
Makoto, did the person who attacked you have scars like mine?
No, not at all. I'm positive.
Then this much has been made clear. There can be no doubt that the one who attacked Makoto is the true mastermind.
This is just awful.
Yep.
On top of my secret being revealed, I had to look at those positively grotesque scars of yours. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I do hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
Not at all. You can say whatever you want.
Sure, as long as it means pushing me farther into the corner, right? But I'm not cornered just yet. Because if you haven't noticed, the circumstances surrounding Mukuro's death are totally unknown.
Sure.
That's true. All we know right now is she was killed a good while before this morning.
On the contrary, we don't know anything other than that.
You're not going to tell us she was already dead before we arrived here or something, are you?
Nope.
In that regard, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you, without a doubt, she died after our little killing game began here.
Then somehow she was killed in secret without any of us knowing.
And after she died, who knows how much time went by before we found her, right? Did the culprit stash her somewhere? She couldn't have been in the garden the whole time, could she?
If she was, she would have been totally decomposed. Just like your brain.
Wow.
Then she was being stored somewhere?
But to hide a body here, to just store it somewhere?
There's only one place. I can't think of anywhere else the body could have been stored.
I got it!
Is that second word?
Mukuro's body was probably kept hidden in the biolab.
Biolab? You mean on the 5th floor?
That's right. It's actually set up for use as a morgue.
Yep.
So it's the perfect place to hide a body. And it'd keep the body preserved at the same time.
Then you're also saying the body was moved from the biolab to the garden.
And I have no doubt that that's exactly what happened. In fact, I have proof.
Do I? Oh yeah, shit, yeah, the top.
I got it! What makes me so sure the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is the tarp that we found in the garden.
Yep.
When I was checking it over again, I noticed something.
It says biolab in the
I
corner.
noticed that some text had been stamped on one corner of the tarp.
Oh, it says biolab.
No shit.
Holy cow! How'd you notice that tiny little thing?
Makoto's nitpicky nature seems to have surfaced with perfect timing.
This proves that the tarp originally came from the biolab. In fact, there's a whole stack of tarps just like it in there.
So when the killer moved the body to the garden, they must have grabbed a tarp to wrap it in. Then they simply left it as it was to protect against the sprinklers, and put the coat on it afterwards.
You made everything sound so amazingly consistent.
Yep.
That's just a wild guess. Where's your evidence? Prove that the body was wrapped in a tarp and moved.
Okay.
There is no evidence. I was simply explaining what I think happened. But you seem to be getting pretty worked up about it, wouldn't you say?
Worked up?
Now that the conversation has turned to the topic of the biolab, you must be getting pretty nervous. Because the key to uncovering your secret identity is hidden within that room, isn't it?
Yep.
You talking about unmasking the mastermind?
You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency. One so major it can't be overlooked.
An inconsistency in the biolab? Could you be talking about?
La, 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 I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Such a child. Oh well, just ignore him.
I need to pull myself together and think. The inconsistency in the biolab, could you be talking about?
By the way, Makoto, what about that one thing?
What one thing?
What do you think I'm talking about? Your family.
What?
Don't tell me you forgot about that.
Oh shit, click Bison.
So what do you think? Are you sure your family's still okay?
Why are you bringing that up now?
Your mom, your dad, your little sister. What do you think has happened to your family? Are they really as safe as you might have assumed?
Stop talking about that!
Calm down, Makoto. He wants you to get upset.
Yeah, I need to calm down. I can't let him get to me. He's just saying that because he knows we're getting close to the truth of the biolab. So if I want to shut him up, I need to expose the inconsistency and slap him with it. The inconsistency has to be that one area where the numbers just don't add up or match up. Oh, hello. Okay.
Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? That's impossible!
Oh god.
Are you sure about this? That's impossible!
Oh, got it.
I'm not listening!
Oh, fuck! Oh, fuck's sake. I didn't realise I could change it.
Are you sure about this? That's impossible! I'm not listening!
This should prove
There
it.
we go. Oh, why is he all sweaty? Bit weird.
The inconsistency Kyoko's talking about is the lights.
Yep.
What are you talking about? What about the lights?
Like I said before, the biolab also acts as a morgue. And as part of that, a giant refrigerator was installed in there. That's where everyone who's died is stored.
And it was set up so that when a slot had a body in it, a blue light would turn on.
In other words, if the blue light is on, that means there's a body in that slot.
But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Mukuro was in, and there were only 9.
Why does that matter? You gotta give me the bite-sized version here,
Because
man.
you're a fucking idiot. 9 lights doesn't make sense. The number of lights there should be on is 10.
I got it! 10 of the lights should have been on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious.
Suspicious? Why? That's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear.
That's right. Let's keep solving this mystery. Sayaka died first. Junko was second. Leon was 3rd. Chihiro was 4th. Mondo was 5th. Taka was 6th, and Hifumi was 7th. Celeste was 8th. Sakura was 9th. And victim number 10 was Mukuro.
So 10 people in all?
That's right. Any other number should make you immediately suspicious. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored there.
You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared?
I got it! The mastermind destroyed one of the bodies to get rid of evidence.
But if they wanted to do that, they would have destroyed Mukuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone.
Then, whose body disappeared?
It may very well be that none of them disappeared.
Yep.
But if that's true, then why doesn't
One of the dead bodies
body
is a dead body
get
from this one.
Including Monokuma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths. But there were only 9 bodies. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders?
The reason there are less bodies than murderers, the explanation for more murders than victims. Why is that? What would it take for someone for this to make sense?
What about if the same person was killed twice?
Killed twice?
Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far, but one of the victims may have been murdered, and then murdered again.
Murdered and...
So it wouldn't have been anyone from the
Murdered again?
executions.
If that's the case,
Couldn't have been
there
any of the
could have been
victims
10
because
killings,
otherwise
but still only 9
they would have
victims,
been-
right?
Technically, you're right, I guess.
the only one I can think that was killed outside of anything that ended up in a class trial was
It
Junko.
is.
Sounds like you're already convinced.
I think.
Then can you tell us who was killed twice?
It was Mukuro, of course. Before she was killed as Mukuro Ikusaba, she was killed as someone else.
And that's why the body had to be stored in the biolab until the moment we found it in the garden.
No, that's crazy talk. She was killed as someone else? Come on! Besides, who could that someone else even have been?
All
You?
you have to do is look at those bodily injuries of hers, and that will become obvious.
Nothing's gonna become obvious.
So, Sayaka would have only had one.
Kyoko's totally delusional.
I think it is Junko. It's gotta be Junko, surely.
Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? Junko Enoshima? Leon Kuwata? Chihiro Manja? Kiyotaki Fumi? Celestia Lu? Or maybe... No, there's no way anyone was murdered twice!
Yes, there was.
No, that's wrong.
I got it right. Can't believe I got it right. I'm so happy with that.
Junko, wasn't her fatal injury pretty similar to Mukuro's?
What do you mean?
All the spikes or arrows or whatever.
Well, remember what happened to her? She was impaled by a bunch of spears, all over her body.
And Mukuro died from a number of wounds across her body. When you compare that to the stab wounds Junko suffered,
And the similarities match?
Yes, and those are the only fatal injuries that match up. That explains why those 2 bodies are actually one and the same.
so let me see if I have this straight. Junko, or someone going by that name, was stabbed to death with multiple spears. Then her body was kept in the biolab for however long before being dragged out again.
Yep.
Only this time, it was presented as the corpse of one Mukuro Ikusaba.
It all matches up, right? Those wounds Junko suffered could easily be these same injuries.
It's really true? Mukuro and Junko are the same person? Wait, so then... What does it all mean?
It means that there haven't been 10 victims, but 9.
Yep.
Which also means that among the people we thought were dead, One is still alive.
And that's the true identity of the mastermind?
Who is it? Who's behind all this?
We already know the answer to that. It's Mukuro. She's still alive.
Nope.
She took Junko's body and made it look like she was the one who died. So Mukuro is still alive. She's gotta be. Total silence? Then I must be right. I'm right, aren't I?
Mukuro alive? The one that's still alive is Mukuro? But can we really believe that? No, there's no way. There's no way Mikuru Ikusawa is still alive. Okay.
The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
It was.
It's wrong. No, the body we found in the garden was Mukuro. That's one thing we can be sure of. The body's appearance and measurements are consistent with her records. Right, Kyoko?
She was 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighed 97 pounds. Her vitals were 31, 21, 32. Everything in her profile is consistent with that corpse.
And then there's the matter of the Fenrir tattoo. So there's no question it's her.
But if Mukuro's not the mastermind, then who's actually still alive?
Someone's made it look like they died, but they're actually still alive. There's only one person it could be.
Here's my answer. Junko is still alive. It's the only possibility.
So snotty.
Are you sure about that?
Huh?
I admit, since Mukuro is undoubtedly dead, Junko does seem to be the only other explanation. But we saw her get impaled. She died right before our very eyes. If Junko were still alive, the death we saw would had to have been some kind of charade. But you yourself confirmed she was dead, did you not?
Now that you mention it, I gently placed my hand on Junko's lifeless body. I touched her wrist to check for a pulse like they do in the movies and stuff, but she really is dead. There wasn't anything else to say, she was gone. I did check, absolutely, I can say for sure.
She was dead. There's no question. Junko was dead.
So, the idea that she's still alive.
It must be wrong.
Then you're withdrawing your previous statement?
I know you gave it your best shot, but too bad. I guess your conclusion was a dud.
Is it, really?
Too bad, too bad.
This case hasn't been decided just yet.
Oh?
You haven't given up already, have you, Makoto?
Huh?
No, of course not. There's no way I'd give up that easy.
That's all well and good, but how do you intend to solve the problem standing in your way? Junko absolutely died. Mukuro absolutely died.
Then both of them are dead, right? There can't be any kind of survivor story.
I think we need to look at this from the opposite direction.
Huh? The opposite direction?
Let's assume Junko is still alive. If so, how could she have survived?
How could Junko have survived? Well, she would have had to switch with, thingy. I checked her, she was dead, I'm sure of it. But still, if she were alive somehow, could it be that Junko's not the one that died? It wasn't Junko, it was someone else entirely? Maybe she used some sort of trick. What else we got? I'm gonna go with this. Seems to be going fine. It looks like replaced. There we go.
Now I understand. That's it. What if she switched places with someone else?
Switch places?
That's right. Before the spears could kill her, she got someone to take her place. Specifically, Mukuro Ikusaba.
Then that would make it Mukuro's corpse that showed up later.
Which is why the body's height and weight and everything match Mukuro's profile, right?
I don't know anything about this switching places thing, but... that had to be Junko who got stabbed to death, right?
Yeah, you're saying they switched? When could they even have done that?
Right at the beginning, I guess?
Right when she was about to die? Like she used some kind of ninja replacement technique?
This isn't Naruto.
Good point. There's just no way they could have switched like that. So maybe the whole idea is wrong.
There has to be some way. I need to figure out how to explain how they could have switched.
I got it! The two of them, they had switched places from the very beginning.
What? From the beginning?
Yes, from the moment we first met. If that's when they switched, then they wouldn't have had to switch at the moment of death, right? After all, the one we saw at that point would have already been Mukuro.
Yep.
Hold on. So, you're saying the Junko we first met is actually Mukuro all along?
We'd already met her?
I had like a normal conversation with her.
Mukuro,
When we
yeah.
first met, none of us knew who anyone else was. So Mukuro could have simply told us her name was Junko, and we never would have known the difference.
Yep.
That would easily allow the two of them to switch places from the very beginning.
Wait, but Mukuro had a tattoo on the back of her hand, right? Junko never had any tattoo like that, did she?
Nope.
She could have hidden it with foundation or something like that. If she did, it likely melted away in the explosion, exposing the tattoo after the body
Yeah,
was
because if you look at it, it doesn't look as if, like, it looks like there's shit
Plus,
over it.
there were the fake nails found on the hands of Mukuro's body. They were the same fake red nails she was wearing when we all met for the first time.
But if she really did use foundation...
Correct. Even if there was no tattoo on her hand, I couldn't say for certain it wasn't Mukuro. So I'm glad nobody noticed that glaring hole when we were trying to figure out who attacked Makoto. But too bad for you, Monokuma. You can't deny it anymore.
Wait, so this whole thing was a setup from the very beginning?
Yep.
If that's true, it was quite an elaborate plan to be sure, making it look like Mukuro was Junko.
The reason such an elaborate plan was possible is because the two of them were working together.
So Mukuro, the ultimate despair, teamed up with someone like her. In other words, it would be fair to say that Junko herself was also the ultimate despair.
Yep.
What's wrong? Lost the will to fight back?
I think he's just afraid.
Afraid? What's that mean, afraid? Fear is only possible where hope is possible. I only have despair, so fear is an alien concept to me.
Then why haven't you been saying anything?
Because it's a bunch of nonsense. Junko's my secret identity.
You would say that.
As if.
Then why did you try and protect Junko's real identity?
I tried to protect her identity? When did I do that?
So he still refuses to admit it, but in trying to deceive us all he wants, it doesn't matter, because I've already figured it out. He tried to hide Junko's identity, and not just once but twice. The first time was during our latest investigation, which is when I was watching the fucking interview tapes, I remember that, and it suddenly just went off. Where is it?
I got it! While I was in the AV room, watching the DVD of our interviews with the headmaster.
Suddenly turned off. It wasn't just the monitor, the DVD player itself had apparently turned off, which of course meant that the DVD wasn't playing anymore. What the heck just happened? Oopsie, looks like it broke, out of service. What? It just so happened to break just now? Now then, when? Doesn't matter. Failure can strike any time, anywhere. That's what failure is, right?
You made sure I couldn't finish watching the video. And the reason you did that is because you didn't want me to see the real Junko, did you?
Oh, yeah! If everyone was in that video, of course Junko would have had to show up.
And if Makoto saw the real Junko, it would have been totally obvious that the Junko we met was an imposter.
That whole power outage thing was just a fluke.
Sure. No, it wasn't a fluke. The mastermind definitely orchestrated that power outage. And that's not the only time they tried to hide Junko's identity. The mastermind tried to cover up the other piece of evidence. We gotta reveal that. It's the face in the fucking picture. I knew it would come down to that. Oh, another one of these, okay.
What do you want?
Is this literally what they're gonna do?
Are you sure about this? You're getting all riled up. That's impossible. That's impossible. This should
Yay!
The video wasn't the only thing you tried to cover up. You did the same thing with this group photo.
Oh.
I noticed it just a little while ago, when we were all comparing the photos we
Me
got.
too.
In all the photos, there's a certain similarity, an unusual circumstance.
What's so unusual about them?
You know what's unusual about them.
I got it! Junko's face. The one
Her
thing
face.
common to every single photo is that you can't see her face. It's hard to believe her face would just happen to be hidden in every single picture, don't you think?
Yep.
And on top of that, in this photo, you can see that Mukuro is clearly visible. So in other words, at that point, the two of them hadn't switched yet. With all that in mind, there's no doubt that the girl whose face is hidden here is the real Junko, which is why you had to have pictures that didn't show her face.
Yep.
Because if we could have seen her face, then it would have clearly revealed that the Junko in the pictures wasn't the Junko that we knew.
Xanadu!
I believe everything Makoto said is true. Junko and Mukuro switched places before we met either of them.
So she killed Mukuro, who had taken her place, making it look like she died. And the real Junko is still alive.
And she's the one behind this whole murderous situation. This killing game. She's the true mastermind and the ultimate despair.
Yep.
Times two!
With this, the identity and the crimes of the mastermind have been exposed.
No, wait! Hold on!
Don't bother trying to deny it. There's no more room for debate. You don't have anywhere left to run.
Yep.
I'll prove everything. Right now.
Yay. Okay. What we got? It's that one. Okay. No. Oh, no, it had to have been, sorry, I've just realised where we are, okay. It's comment 9 of me. This killer running away. I think that's it.
The killer
We'll go with that.
You! We met the ultimate fashionista, Junko Enoshima, right after we all arrived here. But that wasn't the real Junko. The girl we saw before us was actually the 16th student who had taken Junko's place, and that girl's name was Mukuro Ikusaba. But it wasn't long before she died at the hands of Monokuma. In other words, the mastermind, Junko Enoshima. Her body was kept in a biolab, which had been converted into a morgue until Junko decided to put her body to use.
Dun, dun,
Junko
dun.
dragged the body out of the biolab, using the tarp to carry her to the garden. She fabricated the murder to try and frame Kyoko, who proven to be one big thorn in her side. Meanwhile, she wanted us all to think Mukuro was still alive and hiding somewhere inside the school. So she put on a mask and then attacked me. After making sure I'd gotten a good look at the mask, she left the room.
There we go.
Then she put the same mask on Mukuro's body. This was all to make us think the person who attacked me and the corpse were one and the same. She wanted us to believe the murder had only recently taken place.
Oh, god damn it.
Finally, by strapping a bomb to the body, she was able to destroy any remaining evidence. She needed to hide the body's true identity. She had to make sure we didn't find out it was actually the same person we'd met in the beginning.
Yep.
This is the truth behind Mukuro's murder, and the one who carried it all out is the true mastermind. The one controlling Monokuma. The real Junko Enoshima!
Complete.
That's the whole
Yay.
story behind this incident. Well, what do you have to say to that?
What? Are you broken again?
You can't get out of this, so don't even try.
Come on! It's time you finally revealed yourself!
It's not like you're an endangered species or something. How long do you plan to keep hiding?
Give it up, Junko.
I reckon she's on her way there.
Game's over.
Over?
Oh, maybe not.
Did you really think the story would end once we reached the climax of the case? Wrong! There's still plenty more to go!
Okay, there we go, yeah. That's what I thought.
We have been waiting so very long for peasants like you to appear.
Oh dear.
If you swear your fealty to us, we will reward you with half of the entire world.
That's never the voice I thought she'd
We've
have.
even drawn up the deed already. We will grant you honor, status, in some of our home cooking. Have you made your choice? Will you serve under us?
No, I'm alright.
Oh, did you think I was being serious?
Oh, thank God.
Sorry, I was just messing with you. It's been so long since I've had an audience. Even I'm not sure what kind of role I'm supposed to play.
This is the mastermind. She's the real Junko Enoshima.
Anyway, looks like I've finally been set free. Having to play Monokuma all the time, day after day. It was like I was stuck in purgatory. Or like a slow suicide. I get bored so easy, you know?
Face.
Huh? What about my face? What's wrong with my beautiful face? People have told me I'm cuter than 100 chihuahuas combined.
I feel like this isn't the first time I've seen you.
No, I do remember seeing it. I'm sure I've seen her too somewhere. It was definitely before I got to this school.
I got it! That's right! It was before I ever came to this school. I remember seeing a magazine cover. And you were on it!
Wow, you have a pretty good memory. I guess that's why you've made it this far, huh?
So I was right. Then what you told me in the main hall when this all began...
I've seen her on tons of magazine covers, but I feel that doesn't quite match up to reality. I talk about my cover photos junk. Oh, of course, I was totally photoshopped. Photoshopped? Yeah, you know, editors out the back with like computers and junk. Oh, so they are real?
Sometimes a little lie is necessary to keep things moving along. Wouldn't you agree?
That explains why she didn't quite seem the same, because she was a different person all along.
I'm me. And Mukuro is Mukuro. She tried her best. But there's just no way she could have passed as the ultimate fashionista. Two people can never become one as long as the walls of mind and body exist. Not even if they're twins.
Twins?
I know, it's such a cliche, right? I'm almost embarrassed to admit it. So basically, Mukuro and I had your stereotypical twin relationship. The older sister,
Okay.
tough and proud. That was Mukuro. The younger sister, smart and cute. That was...
Me! Junko fucking Enoshima! And together, we were the Despair Sisters, aka the Ultimate Despair!
I think we're going to leave this here because I think that's a good point to leave it. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like in the section below. If you want to see more of this, and do subscribe to the channel as I upload every day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.